So if you're a supply chain manager or a senior manager in any business with a supply chain, you need to be carrying out cost to serve studies. Why? Because if you're not, you might as well throw your money away. It's as simple as that. So this week I'm going to share 5 common mistakes that people make when they're trying to implement cost to serve studies in their businesses. Now, there are at least a dozen videos on cost to serve on this channel. I'll put a link to a playlist in the video description and in the comments, so go and have a browse at those. But if you are, I'm sure if you're a supply chain manager, you must have come across the concept before. If you haven't, it is basically all about understanding the profitability of your customers and your products down to a SKU level and a customer level, so that you can understand the margin on your product. You can deduct, all of your supply chain distribution costs and see what margin you've got left. And the results can be horrifying. On average, I've been doing this for clients over 24 years. On average, I find about 14% of their customer orders are loss makers. So why don't people carry out cost to serve studies more often? Let me tell you some of the mistakes that people make, and then we'll talk about how you should be doing this in the future. So first of all, they don't do it. I don't know why. It's the biggest mistake ever. I have probably conducted, 200-300 cost to serve studies, and they always return fantastic value and benefit for the clients that we're doing it for. You can do it yourself. Watch all those cost to serve videos. It'll show you how to do it. You will find, you'll be shocked by the number of customers and products that are non-profitable. I've seen companies find up to 80% of their SKUs being unprofitable, and they had no idea. So why is that? Well, traditional reporting systems don't give you that kind of visibility. You probably have, if you're good at what you're doing, you probably have a good inkling that things are not quite right, and this product range probably not doing that well, and these customers seem to be, costly to service. But unless you go through that analysis, you're really not going to be sure. And when you do go through that analysis, you can use that as fact-based analysis to change behaviours and policies and so on in the business. So mistake number 1 is people just not even doing it. Mistake number 2 is people do it with inaccurate information. So look, it does require a fair bit of analytical skill and a fair bit of data to do it correctly. One of the biggest mistakes I see that people make is that they're trying to use particularly product data that really hasn't been sanity checked properly. And as soon as you start getting inaccurate weights and cubes and things like this, your cost allocations are just not going to be accurate, and so you're not going to get a good result. So it needs to be done with a degree of care and a high degree of accuracy, particularly around things like product master data, cost allocations and things like that, using the right rate structures for transport and so on. Once you've got the data, it's a pretty simple process to go through, so make sure it's accurate. Number 3, I would say, in terms of mistakes, is people use it in the wrong way. And so, they might do a cost to serve study and they find, oh, look, there's 4% of our SKUs are non-profitable, 3% of our customers are not profitable, and the gut reaction is to drop those SKUs and drop those customers. That's not how you should be using this sort of analysis at all. You should be using the results to change customer service policies, change customer behaviours. Very simple example, let's say you're oversimplified, but let's say you're selling these, and it's costing you $5 to deliver them. Obviously, you're losing money. Maybe they come in packs of 10, and you can say, look, you've got to buy a pack of 10 as a minimum order. There are those sorts of very simple measures that you can do to start turning around that profitability, to make sure that all of your products and all of your customers are profitable. And it's not hard to do. Honestly, it's not hard to do. So make sure you're using this analysis in the correct way, and you're using it to drive change. And the change that you're looking for is to improve the profits within your organization, within your business, and to develop more profit certainty. And certainly CEOs and MDs love that. So, make yourself the hero and start doing this kind of study. Mistake number 4, I would say, is probably not sharing the information widely enough. So This kind of analysis is not something that's just kept to the supply chain and logistics people. It's got to be shared to the much broader business community, particularly people in sales and marketing and finance, so that they can be aware of how their policies and behaviours are impacting the profit performance of the business. I've seen some incredible results where salespeople have suddenly become aware that, hey, it's not all about chasing the sale, almost at any cost, but recognizing what a high value customer looks like, in terms of their ordering patterns and so on. Digress just for a couple of minutes. I can remember a while back doing a study with a company. It was actually based in Thailand, where we produced a ready reckoner for their sales teams, where they could tap in, the customer location. It would geocode it. It would work out the distance of the customer from the local distribution center, and therefore it could work out the transport cost. They could put in, the expected average order size, the expected order frequency, and there and then they could get an estimate of what percentage cost to serve is this customer likely to be, and therefore what can I offer in terms of discounts and things like that. So it's an amazingly powerful tool, particularly for salespeople. If you're measuring your salespeople on margins, rather than top line sales, you kind of need to take that approach. So not sharing the information would be mistake number 4. And I'd say number 5 is probably not updating that information on a regular basis. And generally because ERP systems and most reporting systems don't report in this way, people do it as a one-off, and that's fine. You'll get enormous benefit from that. But if you're getting that tremendous benefit, I was going to say, maybe update it annually, but that's probably not even necessary. I'd say would update that analysis when things change. If your distribution channels are changing, ideally have a look at it before you change them. If your product range is changing, if your customer base is changing, any sort of significant change like that, I would redo that cost to serve analysis and kind of look for that profit leakage in your supply chain. So hey, look, if you're a very savvy supply chain manager, I'm sure you're across this and you're already doing it. I'm just constantly surprised at the number of businesses that don't have their heads around it and the visibility of cost to serve, and it's a huge gap in the knowledge base if they don't have that. So as I mentioned, I'll put a playlist down below where there's lots of different cost to serve articles. There's one which is there's one which is a complete case study of how to do it in a warehouse. And if you need any help with your cost to serve studies, reach out. I'll put my LinkedIn profile link down in the description. So if you want to reach out and have a chat, by all means use that. But cost to serve, it's probably one of the most important things, I think, in supply chain to have your head around. And if you haven't embraced it in your business yet, I would really encourage you to do so. If you've already embraced it and have had some good results from cost to serve, or you have any questions about cost to serve, just put that in the comments down below and I'd love to get some feedback. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Oh, if it's your first time on the channel, do think about hitting the subscribe button and hit the bell. That way you'll get notified every time we have a new video. The key, of course, with hitting subscribe is you don't have to go looking for the channel every time. If you hit subscribe, it'll appear in your subscriptions on the left-hand side of the screen. So that's pretty handy. Thanks for watching. See you next week.